In a world of worker shortage, this new industry in Mississippi has applications stacking up. The budding medical marijuana industry has spawned a new type of job, employment in cultivation facilities. These indoor cannabis farms have strict guidelines to follow for every single aspect of growing and processing marijuana. And today's in their shoes. We follow all of the rules, donning the hairnet, the gloves, the scrubs, to learn what it's like to work with this family-owned farm in Ocean Springs. Check it out. Hey y'all, guess where we are today? We're over here at Southern Grown Therapeutics in Ocean Springs. It is a cultivation facility, and this is the president here. This is Tommy Crumlin, and he is giving us a tour, showing us what it's like to work here. So welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you, glad to be here.
So this is the veg room. This is where it all gets started. This is where you have your mama plant. So tell us a little bit about what's going on in here.
This is where we are starting to defoliate some of our moms, preparing them to take some cuts, and we make clones. Once they start to root, then we transplant them into these planters, these pots. And at this stage is when the state requires us to be adding plant tags to these plants. It's like her birth certificate. That's going to follow her all the way through and telling us who she is.
So after this, your plants will go into
the flowering room.
I'm loving the names of these plants. We've got Louis XIII, Orange Dreamsicle. What's this ODB over here?
That's our old dirty bastard. She has got, I would say she's got a lot of earthy undertones. She's kind of got some funk to her.
It does kind of have a funky smell.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
Versus like a gelato cake.
It's like an herb. I guess it really is an herb.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what it smells like. I bet most people think that if you work in a cultivation facility, you're like high all the time.
That is probably one of the biggest misconceptions, for sure. In all reality, this is very much a hard-working job. I mean, as you've already seen in two of the rooms, there's so many things that can go wrong that we have to be on top of it all the time. And if you're high or if you're under the influence of different drugs or alcohol, you know, that's when mistakes can get overlooked. So
after this, once they've been in here for 60 days, they go into the drying room. Humidity is at 52%? Mm-hmm. Okay.
And now you can see that light now is showing about 9%, and that's about ready. Oh. So this room is about ready for it to come down, and we'll start putting it into bins.
You know what's interesting about this room? You could call this the happy room. Like if anybody is dealing with depression, just come in here for a little while.
Oh, for sure.
The lights and the smells and the atmosphere will just happy you up.
Yeah.
I bet you have statistically the happiest workers.
Believe it or not, we actually do. We've got so many people that are applying, and like I got other friends in restaurant business and all these other industries, and they're like, man, if you can find any other people that you don't need, send them our way. Like they're struggling to find workers, and we got people lined up. This is our processing room. So in here, this is where we're actually going to be trimming the buds for its final state before we weigh it and package it, as well as we also make our own pre-rolls in here.
I love it. It's called the King Shred. That's great.
So we want to make sure all those little holes get filled up. Go ahead.
Okay.
That is vibrating it and packing it down into the cones. We'll pack it down in
a little bit more.
I got to do all of them? Oh man.
It's time consuming. When you try to do it the right way, it does take a little bit extra time.
So once it goes from here.
Hold on, Mark, I'm not done yet. It's gonna be a minute. She's thorough. Man, if anybody knew how much time and attention was put into this one little pre-roll, there it is.
All right, just 5,000 more of those.
Oh, 5,000 more. Tommy, thank you so much for interviewing with us
today
and giving us an idea of your Willy Wonka factory you have going on here.
Yeah, thank you.
This is quite the process.
We appreciate it. We got a lot of good crew here, got a lot of good people, a lot of teamwork that comes involved, and there's just so many moving parts that it's great that we have such a good crew of people that we can rely on and keep producing the best quality cannabis that we can in the state.
Now, if you are interested in working in the medical marijuana industry, Tommy says it takes about 3 to 6 weeks to get a worker's permit. And for a full list of all the steps that it takes, you can visit the website. It is mmcp.ms.gov.